Hey, how many business cards have you thrown away? I know I've thrown away many, and then I look at them and I go, I don't even know who this is. I don't remember who they were. I don't remember where I met them. If I didn't put them into my Rolodex, old school word, CRM, I don't even remember who they are. So, what is the way to brand yourself and make yourself memorable today? I just had a conversation with one of my son's friends. He's 24 years old. He's been in the e-commerce business for a while, and he said, Melanie, I want to work on my personal brand. What can I do to build my personal brand? And of course, my mind goes to books because that's what I do. I'm a publisher. And my son Nathan, I put him in a book when he was 19 that became a Wall Street Journal bestseller. And that started part of his journey as his personal brand. It got him verified on Instagram because of it. So I want you to think about how can you build a personal brand in 2025. So Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary V, one of the ways he built his personal brand way back when was coming out with a book. That's really what catapulted him. I think it was Jab Punch. So that was the book that really catapulted him to building his personal brand. And I told the boys that when they were here, because they're all in social media, I said, think about everyone that you follow. Everyone that you follow has a book. They're like, oh yeah. Alex Hermosi has a book. Gary V has a book. Grant Cardone has a bunch of books. These are kids in their 20s, but they're following these influencers, and they all have books. So why is the most oldest school thing of marketing and getting knowledge across still one of the most popular ways to get your message out, gain credibility, get brand recognition, get media attention? It's still a book. I believe in it 100, 200, 2,100%, if that's even a number. So let's walk through why this does it. So when you do a book, it makes you stop and think about who you are, what you know, right? And how do I communicate that to somebody else? It makes you think about your stories, your personal story. I have to say, when you write a book, it's like going through a year or 2 years of therapy. When you get done with the book, you're like, wow, I did so much reflection on myself, on my business, on my goals, on the processes. What were the processes I used to get from here to there? So you really get new insights yourself. You reignite your passion, your excitement. So those are some internal things that you get. But the other thing that you're creating something that's for longevity for your personal brand. So you will have an asset that you'll have forever. I just saw somebody that was saying every time you create something, you should think about how long that's going to last and how much you can use it for. How long can you use it for? So we're coming up on our 10-year anniversary, and we're like, oh, well, we should do a big campaign about our 10-year anniversary. And then I started to think about it. I'll only be able to use all that content one time. Because if it's all about talking about our 10-year anniversary, I can't really recycle too much of that because next year will be our 11th year anniversary. So a book I can use over and over again. So there's more value in creating that for your personal brand than anything else. It really opens doors for you. An author of ours that we helped catapult to bestseller and award-winning was Keon Henderson. He's a pastor here in Houston, and he worked with a traditional publisher, but he hadn't quite gotten over the hump. So he hired us to be a bestseller and to be an award-winning author. But I want to tell you the story was he did all kinds of media. He was on every known podcast that you can think of, traveling all over the country. Now, would he have been able to do that without his book? No. He didn't have a reason to go on those shows necessarily, but because he had a book to talk about and something to promote, it opened all of these doors. And you know what opening all of those doors did? It expanded his audience. So that's what a book does for you. It's going to expand your audience. So think about how you want to show up for your personal brand. We were even talking about how you dress is important for your personal brand. How you look, how you wear your hair. If you got spiky hot pink hair, that says something about you, your personality, and your brand. So you have to think about your personal brand in a multi-dimensional way. So of course, I think of it as a book, your message, your stories. But I also want you to think about it how you show up every day. Do you show up wearing your brand every day? When I was running for Miss Michigan, I was going out of the house. I think I had my hair in a ponytail, no makeup on, looking pretty disheveled. And my mom told me, you can't go out of the house that way. And I was like, well, what are you talking about? She goes, you're vying to be Miss Michigan. If you're going to run for Miss Michigan, you need to try and look like Miss Michigan every day. I was like, oh, I didn't think about it that way, right? That was my personal brand. If I wanted to be that person, I wanted to step into that success and be Miss Michigan, I needed to start to act and look and represent myself and have my personal brand look like Miss Michigan, right? Because if I didn't look like Miss Michigan, they'd be like, well, she doesn't look like the kind of person that would be representing the state of Michigan. So you have to think about if you want to be a best-selling author or if your personal brand is conservative. I was saying Mr. Wonderful from Shark Tank, he's always got his suit and tie on. Well, that's his brand. But then you've got Mark Cuban who shows up in a polo, right? That's more his brand, more relaxed. So decide who you are and what your personal brand is. And then you have to communicate that out to the masses with your social media, with your emails. So even with AI, we have an AI GPT, so to speak, that now knows my personality. We've trained it on the way I talk and the way I present myself. So it knows my personal brand. So when I want to go in and write an email and get like an outline for something, I know it's going to write it in my tone using some of the words that I already use, so I get a great first draft that then I can go in and edit. So think about your personal brand as something you take with you all the time. That's the next point. When you build your personal brand, no matter what business you're in, no matter if you work for a company and you lost your job and you needed a new job, you take your personal brand with you. That's why it's so important to build that. I could be a publisher today, but then tomorrow I could be back in the television business or I could be in real estate. But I'm taking that personal brand with me wherever I go. And no one can dispute that, right? You're consistent wherever you're at. That's the other thing. When you're building your brand, make sure you are consistent. So if you're interested in learning more about building your brand, you can reach out to us at Elite Online Publishing. We're happy to help you with the book, create your brand, create a logo for you, get social media posted for you. So we are a marketing company as well as a book publishing company. So if you're interested, look us up at Elite Online Publishing. We're everywhere on social media. We have 2 podcasts. We have Elite Publishing Podcast, Elite Expert Insider Podcast, and you can find us all over social media. So if you're looking to write a book, we look forward to hearing from you or building your brand with a book or with social media. Have a great week, everybody.